What's up everybody, this is Saber and welcome to Starmade. Now I know I haven't been making a whole lot of videos for you guys lately, and I'm here to show you why that is. This is actually just a very small taste of why, but I just wanted you to know that just because I have not been making videos does not mean that I have not been active. So this is just a very few of the projects that I have been working on lately. So I'm just going to go ahead and just take you through a tour of each of them as I go. So up here in the very front, these are a couple of Steadicam concepts that I've been working on. The first one is the revised version, which is actually more of a quicker pan for the Steadicam. And then back here behind that is a more basic version, which will allows for a much slower pan. So I'll actually go ahead and hop into those just to kind of show you guys the difference. So I'll spawn in a core first, just so you have sort of a test bed here, or a control, if you will. So there's a core, and see when you're flying around something, it's not very smooth for movement. You can see there's a lot of jitter in there. So especially like when you roll and stuff like that, because I make very slight corrections with stuff like that. So let's go ahead and hop into this one, and then I'll show you guys the difference that I actually get with that. So I'm using tab F8 to go between these a little quicker for you guys. But you just go in build mode, hit the doors, and then you have a nice clean small profile and a lot smoother movement. So you can actually pan around things and it's not being all jittery. You get nice smooth movements. Even if you roll a little bit, you barely notice it if you do it smoothly enough. So I want to go ahead and show you the revised version that I had, which uses logic to control the doors. It's a lot lighter, so it's a much quicker Steadicam. But it does pan a little bit quicker, so let's go ahead and hit this logic first. Okay, so now all the doors are gone. So you still get some smooth movement, but it is a lot faster. So you can actually pan around things a little more quickly. It is not as smooth, obviously, because there just isn't as much mass at the ends of each axis. So basically what determines your turn rate is just the axis. The longest axis will reduce your turn speed by however much. So because this still reaches those axes, or that extent of the axis, it is still smooth, but because there isn't as much mass, it's not as slow. So it works a little bit. It's a little more limited in how and when it is useful, but I've really had a lot of fun figuring those out. So speaking of concepts, and Steadicams, another one that I've been working on has been a perma-stealth, perma-cloak, perma-jam Steadicam for the tournament that's coming up on the Starside channel. Now if you guys haven't checked that out, I'll go ahead and link that down below, so do go check that out because it's going to be a really sweet combat tournament. But this is my perma-cloak, perma-jam stealth cam. Now I wanted to keep its profile as small as possible, so it's still fairly narrow. It can go in some spaces on the interior, not many because it's very long. But that is the most efficient power system that I could figure out while keeping the silhouette as small as possible, because I want to be able to dodge, stuff here and there. It's still got the doors, but it's not as much. It's basically the 2.0 Steadicam, where it's just logic and the extents of each axis. And up here, you guys are familiar with this target. It is a penetration target, and I've also got the shear fighter here just as a shield test for the weapon rack that I've been making. So this is part of a project that I've been working on lately to do some weapons testing, where this is every cannon combination you can have in the game on this weapon rack. And I will be making 3 other weapon racks for the other 3 primary weapon types. So there's going to be a missile one, a beam one, and a pulse one still. And I will be releasing these to the public so that you guys can use them as a test bed to figure out what weapon systems you want to use for your own ships and your own builds. So you can play around with this, test it, and then decide for yourself. Now it's not that pretty, but it's not really meant to be. It's solely for testing purposes, so you can see what effects work best with what combinations and all that stuff. Basically every tertiary and secondary system is 100%, the max efficiency that it can be, so 100% for the main weapon type. So that will let you see exactly which weapon combos which tertiaries work best with which weapon combos. It's kind of weird to explain, but I think you guys will find it really useful. And also, I briefly forgot to mention this. This is just a quick little glimpse into something that I've had planned since before Halloween of last year. So I'm not going to give you a whole lot of details, but I'm just going to say one thing about it. Adventure map for Starmade. Okay, moving on. Then obviously back here, we've got the Spartan. You guys are probably familiar with that at this point, but I've been doing a lot of work on it and trying to get it kind of tuned up for the combat version. But I want to get the weapon racks done first so I myself can decide what weapons I want in here, because I haven't really ever worked with all the weapon combos. So I wanted to figure out what I want so I can throw it in here and not have to redo it later. But since you guys are mostly familiar with that build, and I've kind of been following it in my series, my mini-series, I guess if you will, I'm going to go ahead and not spend a whole lot of time on that, but I'll go up here to these spinny little things, which you guys have probably noticed at this point. Oh, quickly though, back there is one of Raven's ships, which is part of a masterclass review series. Well, not review series, sorry, review episode, which I am in the process of doing. All I need is Dal's ship, and then I can finish it off. So I've seen his and Skylord Luke's, and then I'll be releasing that video, and it's going to be amazing. So, back to these spinny things. On my single-player server, I have both radial and linear dampening off. It's just completely off. So these handy little devices will spin forever. So it's basically just a way for me to test if I can get things to actually work in a pretty cool way. Like, this would be most useful in or around a space station, because if you move, it's not going to work on a spaceship because they'll just get knocked all over the place. But on a space station, you could theoretically do these things just by changing those two commands. Now, I think I'll go ahead and write those down in the description or maybe in the video itself, but just so you guys can find those and kind of tweak around with those yourself, because they are really fun and you can get some cool effects. And then over here, the giant elephant in the room, or the moon in the space, is the Majora's Mask moon from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This is something I've wanted to work on for a long time, and I finally found the right model for it. It is a little low poly, obviously, because it was a Nintendo 64 game, but I want to make this thing as accurate as I can to the actual moon in the game, which includes, let me go ahead and stop my cam here, the actual interior from the game. So obviously it's still in the works, but I want to have a big tree here. It's going to be all blue and lit and nice in here, and so it'll look like the actual interior when you do finally make it inside the Majora's Mask moon. Spoiler alert, sorry, too late. If you haven't played it, well, go play it. So that's what I've been working on lately. So I'm not lost, I'm not gone. I've just been really busy with other stuff and life and things like that. So I wanted to show you guys just a handful of the projects that I've been working on. Now, obviously, there are still other series that I've told you guys about that I am working on. It's just they aren't as complete as this, and I haven't had time to work on them. So, that said, I think that will about do it for me. I'm going to try and have a review episode out for you guys today, maybe tomorrow, depends on Dow's ship. But that should do it. So, thank you guys for watching. Hang in there. There's a lot coming, as you can see. Should be a pretty fun coming few weeks. So, thank you guys again, and I will catch you guys later.